Janamapi Vishachiputram Atra Surupam Urupam Tasyagrajamuri Purim Maturim Koshtuvatim Radha Kundam Agirivaram Ahoradikao Madhavasam Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Sri Guru Tam Natos Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namah Ananda Leelamaya Vigrahaya Hemabhadevyaschavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasapradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Sham Sundar Shikanda Shikar Smahas Murali Manoira Radhikar Sukamama Kripanidhe Swapriyachana Kinkurim Kuru Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvaya Vina Tivikaya Devi Tvam Nayamaham Charanantikam. First of all, I offer my Sastang Dandavak Puspanjali, my heart like flowers, thousands and thousands of times at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual Gurudev, Asmadeva Paramaradhatama Guru Pada Padma, Nittilila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtotarasata Sri Rupanugacharya Varya, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev and to Srila Prabhupada and to all of our Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara. And finally, I offer my pranam to all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, Vancha Kalpaturvasta, Kripa Sindhu Bhayavata, Putitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. By the causeless mercy of Sri Guru and the Gauranga, we are engaged in our manasik, in the heart, by our mind, parikrama, Vrindavan Dham Parikrama. So what is the meaning of Vrindavan, the meaning of Dham, and the meaning of Parikrama? First of all, Vrindavan. Vrinda means group, and Avana means nourishing. That place where all living entities, the cows, the cowherd boys, the gopis, the trees and creepers, and all moving and non-moving living entities are nourished by Prem. That is called Vrindavan. Vrindavan also means the forest, where the goddess of Vrindavan, Vrinda Devi, is decorating everything so beautifully and making all arrangements for the loving pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And in Sanskrit, Vrindhatu, this verbal root, Vrin, means choose. So Vrindavan means only those who have been chosen by Shrimati Radhika can stay in that place. Without the mercy of Radhika, no one can attain residence in Vrindavan or enter the Kunjas of Vrindavan. So these are some of the meanings of Vrindavan. Actually, Dham, the word Dham is very interesting. Srila Jiva Goswami has given a beautiful explanation. He said, if there is a Shalagram Shila, then this Shalagram Shila is so holy. If anyone who is within miles of that Shalagram Shila, then they are benefited. The Shalagram Shila is not actually a form of Krishna. Because Krishna has no incarnation like a shape like a gulab jamun. But the Shalagram Shila is called Bhagavad Akar Adhistan. Bhagavad means God. Akar means form. And Adhistan means the place where he resides and the place where he manifests himself. So there may be one Shalagram Shila, but according to one's abhiman, the mood in which one is worshipping the Shila, then that form of Krishna whom you love will manifest from that Shalagram Shila, as Sri Krishna described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Mahapurush Abhyachen Murtya Abhimatayatmana. According to your abhiman, when you worship the Shalagram Shila, then I manifest myself in the very form you want to serve. So the Shalagram Shila is called the Bhagavad Aka Adhistan. When we come into the presence of a Shalagram Shila, then we fold our hands and we bow down with great humility because we know the form of Krishna is present there. So Srila Jiva Goswami Pad explained that the Dham, the holy Dham of Vrindavan, is Maha Bhagavad Aka Adhistan. The whole of Vrindavan is holy in that same way. And we have the opportunity to enter into that Vrindavan, and anywhere there, Sri Krishna may manifest his beautiful form before us in accordance with our particular mood. So this is the meaning of the Dham. The Dham is not an ordinary place. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad, he said, Chintamani bhumi kalpa brikshamayavan charma chakshe dekletara prapancherasam. Every particle of dust of Vrindavan is a wish-fulfilling jewel. All the trees and creepers can fulfill all desires. But charma chakshe, that means when you look at it with your eyeball, which is made of meat, then prapancherasam means it seems to be prapanch, only made of the 5 elements like every other mundane place in this world. But we should know that Sri Krishna, he can never interact with the material energy. He only interacts with his spiritual energy. So before Sri Krishna appears in this world, he makes his Dham appear. And the Dham is the Adar, that means the support of Krishna's Leela. So the Dham is called the manifestation of Adar Shakti, the power of support. And Krishna will only perform pastimes in that place where there is the Adar Shakti, the power of support. So there is the Adar Shakti of Vrindavan and other dhams where other incarnations perform their Leela. We see that when Sri Krishna comes into this world, sometimes he leaves his holy dham and he travels somewhere else. For example, Dwarkadish Krishna, he travels to Mithila. So though Mithila is not the dham of Sri Krishna, but at that time, the Adar Shakti of Dwarka extends itself and does avesh. That means it absorbs into the Mithila and it becomes a dham because Krishna never goes outside of his Adar Shakti. So in the same way, even Vrindavan today is directly the manifestation of Sri Krishna's Adar Shakti. And it is said that Yadyapi ase lila karigar rai kon bhagyavani deki bari pai. Even today, Mahaprabhu, or even today, Shamsundar Sri Krishna is performing his Leela in Vrindavan, and those who are very fortunate, they have the eyes to see it. Don't think that Sri Krishna, once in a day of Lord Brahma, from Goloka Vrindavan, descends down to this world and manifests here. This is not true. Why? Krishna is always in Vrindavan. Only sometimes his Leela is prakat and sometimes aprakat. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 3rd canto, it is said, Ajopi jato bhagavam yatagni. Krishna is unborn, but still he is born. And he appears like fire appears from wood. That means that fire is unmanifest in wood, and then it becomes manifest. So in the same way, Krishna's aprakat, unmanifest Leela, is always going on in Vrindavan. And then once in a day of Brahma, that aprakat Leela becomes prakat Leela, manifest before the eyes of the world, and then becomes aprakat, unmanifest again. So The word dham has three prominent meanings: deha, twit, and vas. The word deha means body. That means that Vrindavan is Krishna's body. In the Gautamiya Tantra, Sri Krishna said, Pancha yojan Vrindavan is my body, and the river Jamuna is my Sushumna Nadi. Those of you who know something about yoga sadhana, you know that the main pranic channel, without which you cannot do anything, the main pranic channel, the nadi, which goes from the Muladhara chakra to the Sahasrara chakra, is called the Sushumna Nadi. So Krishna said, oh, Vrindavan is my body, and Jamuna is my Sushumna Nadi. Then the second meaning of dham is twit. Twit means effulgence or prabhav. Chidanandam jyoti param api tadaswadhyam api cha. In Brahma Samhita, it is said, the dham of Vrindavan is Chidananda Jyoti. It is the light of Chit and Ananda emanating from Sri Krishna. Also in the Bhagavad Sandarbha, it is said that Krishna's dham is the Swarupa Vaibhav. It is the glory emanating from Krishna's own Swarup. So it's non-different from him. And all his associates also are non-different from him. So there's a very beautiful Brajbasi poem. Tinna channa ekacholata esho arta vicha bihari bihari dasiyor antara nitya bihar. How is Krishna, Radhika, the Sakhis, their maidservants, and Vrindavan, how are they all one? The example is given of a pod of chickpeas. In the chickpea pod, if you open it, you'll see there are 3 chickpeas there. So in this example, one chickpea is Krishna, one is Radhika, and one is their Sakhis, Gopis and Manjaris, and all are together within Vrindavan. They are one divine reality. So Deha Twit. Then the next meaning of Dham is Vas. Vas means residence. It is the playing place of Sri Krishna. So in the very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, the beauty of Vrindavan Dham has been described. Janmadhyasya tanvayad itartas chateshva vigyaswarat tane brahma hridaya adi kavayi muyanti yatsudaya tejo vari mridamyata vinimayo yatra tisagomrisha tamna swena sada nirasta kurkam satyam param dhimahi. Dhamna swena sada nirasta. This dham, swena of Krishna, his own dham, it is tejo vari mridam yatha vinimayo, the place where earth, water and fire all exchange their qualities. That means that even though the moon shines very brightly with the Tej, or the jewels of Vrindavan shine very brightly with Tej, that fire of their shining, it becomes dull like earth in comparison to the beautiful shining of the Vigraha, the sweet form of Sri Krishna. So in this way, the fire becomes like earth. Oh, and the water becomes like earth. When Krishna plays his flute, the river Jamuna that was flowing becomes stunned, just like earth. And the earth becomes like water. When Krishna plays his flute, then the stones of Govardhan melt and begin to run down the mountain. And the water becomes like fire. When Krishna plays his flute, then the waves of the Jamuna, just like flames, jump up into the sky. So in the same way, the waves of the Yamuna jump up into the air to catch the sound of Sri Krishna's flute. So it is most astonishing. So Dhamna Swena Sada Nirasta Kuakam. Kuakam means cheating, and Nirasta means that it becomes futile. In other words, Radha Krishna want to meet, but Jyotila, Kotila, Abhimanyu, and others, they make so many tricks and traps to stop Radha Krishna from meeting, but they all become futile. Chandravali And her Sakhis, like Padma and Shaibya, they also try many tricks and traps to deviate Krishna and take him away from Radharani. But all their tricks and traps fail. So damna swena sida nirasta kuakam. Satyam param dhimahi. I meditate on Satyam param dhimahi. Here the Satya is Krishna and his Parashakti is Radhika. So Satyam param dhimahi means I meditate on the beautiful Nikunja Leela of Radha and Krishna. So here in these two lines of the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vyasadeva has used a poetic figure of speech called Mala Prativast Upama Alankar. Upama Alankar means a simile, when two things are compared. But in the Prativast Upama Alankar, it means two situations have been described, but they have one common attribute, and that attribute has been compared. So here, in the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vyasadeva is saying, oh, just as it's amazing that the stones melt and run down the hill of Govardhan, just as it is amazing that the waves of Jamuna jump into the air like flames to catch the sound of Krishna's flute. So similarly, in the same way, the meeting of Radha and Krishna, how they trick Jatila, Kutila, Abhimanyu, Chandravali and others and come to meet together is amazing. Chamatkar, astounding. So this is the Dham. Tejo vari mridamyata vinimayo. Everything is changing its nature, changing its quality. For Radharani, to stay at home is to live in a jungle because there are wild animals there like her mother-in-law and sister-in-law. But to go to the jungle, she feels this is my home. So in Vrindavan, everything becomes reverse. Gurudev used to sing one Brijbasi song. Dekho me sunayo eko bat anamel Brahma nirankar rahu gokula mekil Nanda yashoda ki ga prema nadia ki sada ulti barita. The meaning is, if you want to hear something which is extremely contradictory, then listen to the glories of Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a place of love, and the river of love always flows in the opposite direction. Usually in this world, the rivers start in the mountains and they go low. But the river of love starts at the bottom, those who are the most humble, and it carries them up. So if we want to enter in Vrindavan, we cannot walk there on our feet. We have to walk to Vrindavan on our head, upside down, always bowing down and praying and begging for mercy. So the current of Prem makes everything backwards. In Sanskrit, the word for current is dhara. Dhara, that means a current. And when the dhara becomes backwards, it becomes Radha. So the name Radha means that Prem makes everything upside down. Prem makes everything in reverse. Because Radhika's love is all-pervading, but still it's increasing. It's the most significant and powerful thing, but it's completely devoid of pride. And even though her heart is totally pure, she's always beset with duplicity, crooked behavior. So these are some of the viparyai, the reversals, the contradictions of pure love, which are embodied in Vrindavan, which is, we're coming to the next meaning of Vrindavan Dham, the manifestation of Radhika's heart. Anyara hridayaman, mora mana Vrindavan, mana bani eka kari jahani. Shrimati Radharani herself said, Vrindavan is my heart and Vrindavan are one. And Sri Krishna, he experiences that. When Sri Krishna goes out into the forest and sees the udipana, the stimulation of all the beauty of Vrindavan, he begins to see Radhika everywhere. Bibrajat tilakam kalinda tanaya nirogani lambaro dancha champaka kanchana chavirahur nana rasullasini. Krishna prema payoda reina rasadena tyanta sammohini gopendattanda ballabha vijayati bradeva brindatavi. Oh, this Vrindavan is just like Radhika. How? Oh, the Teal flowers, the sesame flowers, they're like Radhika's tilak. The flowing dark blue waves of the Jamuna, they're like the waves of her blue cloth. Her golden complexion, when Krishna looks at the golden champak flowers in the forest, he sees the golden complexion of Radhika and feels a great variety of ecstasies and becomes bewildered. When he hears the sound of the cuckoo birds, he thinks it's the voice of Radhika. When the breeze is blowing, he feels as this is the sighs of Shrimati Radhika. When he sees the lotus flowers rising up in the Jamuna, he thinks these are the hands of Radhika protecting the chakora birds of her breast. The chakora birds are playing there in the Jamuna. When he sees the clouds in the sky, he thinks it's the mass of Radhika's dark curling hair. And when he sees the waterfalls running down from the beautiful hills, then he thinks this is the perspiration of Radhika dripping from her beautiful body. In this way, when Krishna goes into Vrindavan, even before he meets with Radharani, Atyanta Sammohini, he becomes excessively bewildered and overwhelmed with Prem, even before seeing her, just by the power of Vrindavan Dham. So Vrindavan Dham has three main manifestations: Prakat Prakash, Aprakat Prakash, and Drishyaman Prakash. So we can give some examples of the power of each Dham. You know, when Uddhav came to Vrindavan, Nanda Maharaj was weeping and remembering Krishna. Uddhav said, "Oh, Nanda Baba, why don't you go outside for a walk?" Nanda Maharaj, he said, "Oh, I have tried that, but what happened? Sarit Shaila Vanudeshan Mukunda Padabhushitam Akridan Vikshamananam Manoyati Tadatmatam." When I go outside and I see the lakes and rivers, when I see the hills of Brajamandal and I see the forests which are decorated with Krishna's footprints, and where he performed his many pastimes, then manoyati tadatmatam, my heart becomes completely absorbed in Krishna. The meaning is that wherever Nanda Maharaj looks, he has a spurti that Krishna's pastimes are going on there. So this verse shows the glory of the Prakat Prakash, that when Krishna's pastimes are going on in this world, and the Brijvasis like Nanda Maharaj, they see each place of Vrindavan, then they have a vision of Krishna. That means that the Prakat Dham is revealing to them the aprakat, the unmanifest Leela of Sri Krishna. Also, Shukadev Goswami, he described that when Krishna sent Uddhav to Vrindavan, Uddhav went on parikrama with the Braja Gopis. Really, this is the first Brajmandal Parikrama. When Uddhav wandered all over Braj with the gopis, and in each place he was singing the glories of Krishna. So Shukadev Goswami said, Saridvana giridronir viksham kushmitan druman Krishnam samsmarayan remi haridaso brajokasam. Uddhav stayed for 2 months and he traveled from forest to forest with the Braj Gopis. And he pointed out, "Oh, look at this waterfall, look at this forest, look at this hill. Oh, see these blossoming flowers." And as he was discussing the glories of Krishna and Vrindavan, then Uddhav and Braj Gopis, they began to see the Aprakat Prakash, the unmanifested eternal pastimes of Sri Krishna, which are always going on in that dham. So we have discussed something about the glories of the Prakat Prakash, the dham, how powerful it is when Krishna the pastimes are going on. His Aprakat Prakash, where the pastimes are going on eternally. Now we come to Drishyaman Prakash. Drishyaman means what's visible to us now. And that's very relevant to us because I say for myself, in my very junior stage, I can only go and have the chance to see the Drishyaman Prakash. But the reason we go to see that Drishyaman Prakash under the guidance of pure Vaishnavas and hear and chant in those places is because the Dham is very powerful and it can give a spurti, a vision of the aprakat, unmanifest Leela. So how powerful is it? We can give one example. Perhaps you know there was a great devotee named Gop Kumar. Gop Kumar received Diksha from his Gurudev and he was remembering his Gopal mantra. And by the power of that mantra, he went up to heaven. He went up to the Tapalok, Janalok, Tapalok, Satyalok, that is Brahmalok. He went to Vaikuntha. He went beyond Vaikuntha. He even went to Dwarka. But in every place, he was dissatisfied. So Gop Kumar had gone even all the way up to Dwarka, not on this world, but in the spiritual sky. And there he was dissatisfied. At that time, Uddhav very kindly came to him. And Uddhav said to Gop Kumar, Tatrai vutpadyate dainyam, tat premapi sada satam, tat shunyam ivaranya, saridgir apyapasyatam. So it's a very, very beautiful, very moving point. Narad Muni said, oh, you're not satisfied here, you should go back to Jagannath Puri. Then Uddhav said, no, don't go to Puri. Because if you go there, there'll be many big festivals of Lord Jagannath and he'll be very happy. But that will not make his prem mature. You see, Gop Kumar wants to go from Dwarka in the spiritual sky up to the highest level, to Goloka Vrindavan. But Uddhav said to him, the only way you can go there from Dwarka in the spiritual sky up to the highest level, Goloka Vrindavan, the only way you'll be able to do it is to go back into the material world, to the material universe, and go to Bauma Vrindavan. Go to this Vrindavan which is here on this planet Earth. This is why Brijbasis say, Yahi, Anishchaya Kahi. Here. We only want to be here. We don't want to go anywhere else. Because this Vrindavan on this earth and that Goloka Vrindavan, they're not two places. It is the same place. So, but the difference is this. If a person will come to the Drishyaman Prakash of Vrindavan right now, then what will they see? They'll see that Krishna is not there. Tat sunya ivaranya means the forests are empty. Shunya, devoid. Where is the laughter? Where are the sound of gopis' ankle bells as they're running here and there and dancing and playing with Krishna? When will I hear the sound of the Bangsi? Amritagdi rasa prayes, nupura tavasinjitaha. Oh Radhika, when will the sound of your ankle bells enter into my ear and remove my deafness? So when the devotee comes to the Drishyaman Prakash on earth and he sees that it's empty, and Radha Krishna are not there, it's heartbreaking. And then what happens? Tatrai vudpadyate dainyam. Only in this Drishyaman Prakash, the humility rises. And when the humility rises, then Dainya Bhav, humility, has a very special effect. The effect is this. Bhakti is a Vishesh Shakti, a special power of Shri Krishna. And if that Bhakti Shakti comes in the heart of a devotee, then in the heart of the devotee, it has the power to melt Krishna's heart, and Krishna's mercy comes. And if a devotee has a deep humility, Dainya causes the Uchchalita. Dainya sambandena cha sadikam Uchchalita bhavaviti. Srila Jiva Goswami Pad said, if the devotee's heart is feeling dinata, wretchedness, I am so useless, I am so fallen, I am so insignificant, I am so unqualified. Oh Radha and Krishna, when will you accept me? Even after 1,000,000 lifetimes, I will not be qualified. And he's crying. Then what happens? Uchchalita, the Vishesh Shakti, the special power of Bhakti, begins to surge within the heart. So by going to the Drishyaman Prakash of Vrindavan and crying in humility, then Bhakti surges in the heart of the devotee, and then he can realize the Aprakat Prakash of Goloka Vrindavan. So in this way, these are the various powers of the Prakat Prakash Vrindavan Dham, Aprakat Prakash Vrindavan Dham, and Drishyaman Prakash Vrindavan Dham. So, I want to just touch, because we're running out of time. Everything is very late today. If you just give me 1 or 2 minutes, I'd like to just touch a few words about the glories of Seva Kunj and Sringarvat. Seva means to give happiness to the object of love. Anyabhilasta shunyam, without any personal consideration. This is Seva. So Seva Kunj is that place where Radhika and Braj Gopis, they are serving Krishna. But more than that, see Krishna, it is said, Bhagama apitara tri shadat fulla mallika viksharanta manas chakre yoga mayam upasrita. In the first verse of Rasa Lila, Krishna yoga mayam upasritaha. He took shelter of yoga maya. So yoga maya can mean the Leela Shakti, Purnamasi Devi. Yoga maya can mean, because Purnamasi Devi is the Leela Shakti of all the rasas, but she's an elderly person, so she cannot come close in the pastimes of Madhurya Rasa. So Purnamasi Devi has her Prakash, that is Brinda Devi. Brinda Devi is the Prakash of Yogamaya Purnamasi, especially for the department of Madhurya Rasa, the romantic mood. So Yogamaya Mupashrita, Krishna took shelter of the forest of Vrindavan and goddess Brinda. But here Yogamayam can mean also Radhika. Why? Yoga means samyoga, meeting. And Maya comes from mang dhatu in Sanskrit. Mang mane cha shabde. So it means, man means the full extent. So Yoga Maya means that person who makes Krishna experience samyog, meeting to the fullest extent, is Yoga Maya. So on that day of the Raslila, Krishna in his heart took full shelter of the lotus feet of Shrimati Radhika. So one very Rasik Brajbas poet, Rasa Khan, he said, Brahma me doryo purana nagayan, Veda richa sruti chao guna chayan, dekyo sunyo kabahu nakahu, wo kaisi sarupa, wo kaisi subayan. Tera tahera tahaya paryo, rasakana bataya naloga lugayan, dekyo sunyo seva kunja kutime, baita palotita radhika payan. Rasakan, the poet, is saying, I wanted to know what is Parabrahma, the absolute truth. So I was listening to the 4 Vedas, I was listening to the Puranas, and I was listening and listening, but I still could not understand. What is the Parabrahma like? What is its shape and activities? I don't know. So I wandered here and there, and I asked many people, but no one could tell me. Then one day I came to Seva Kunj in Vrindavan, and I looked, and there in the distance I saw Parabrahma, the absolute truth. What was the absolute truth like? Oh, he was a beautiful cowherd boy, and he was sitting at the feet of Radhika, and he was massaging her feet. So this is the meaning of Seva Kunj. Though Seva means to serve in such a way that the object of love is pleased. But Krishna experiences so much happiness serving Radharani, because she is his Ladini Shakti. When Krishna takes full shelter of his Ladini Shakti, he experiences the most Ananda. So Radharani's service is giving Krishna a chance to serve her, because that's the thing which is most pleasing to him. So this is the meaning of Seva Kunj. Sringarvat is within the area of Seva Kunj, and we heard today how during the Rasa Lila, Sri Krishna disappeared with Radharani. It was at that time the gopis are searching everywhere, and only the dust of Vrindavan was merciful to them. They spoke to the trees, have you seen where Krishna's gone? But the trees gave no answer. They even spoke to the Tulsi plants. Oh Tulsi, Hakada Govinde, oh Tulsi, have you seen Govinda? But she also gave no answer as well. So who gave mercy to the gopis? The dust of Vrindavan. When they looked down, they saw the footprints of Krishna. And then they saw next to the footprints of Sri Krishna, the footprints of Radhika. So even the dust of Vrindavan gives mercy to the gopis by revealing where is Krishna and where is Radhika. So at that time, Krishna had taken Radharani to this place which is now known as Sringavat, and they enjoyed very, very beautiful pastimes there. And Shringar means ornaments, decoration, because a heroine is dressed in Sola Shringar, 16 different types of cosmetics, and Dwadasha Abharan, 12 types of golden ornaments. So after the loving pastimes, then Radhika's ornaments and cosmetics, they are scattered here and there. So then Radhika, she asked Krishna that, oh, you should again do my ornamentation. So in the Rasalila first verse, it says, Bhagavan api taratri. Though Krishna is God, Bhagavan api means though, even though he's God. But in this Rasalila, he's Dear Lalit Nayak. Dear Lalit Nayak means that Vaidagda Navatarunya Parihasa Visharada Nischinto Dira Lalita Sapaya Prayasi Vasaha. That Krishna who is Vigdagda, very expert in all of the arts. Navatarunya, he is an ever-fresh youth. Parihasa Visharada, he's expert at laughing and joking. Nischinta, and he has not a care in the world, he has no worries at all. Because his parents, they spoil him. They don't make him do any work at all. Even he doesn't have to take the cows to graze, but he takes the cows out to graze just to get a chance to escape from the Nanda Bhavan and meet with Radhika in the forest. So he's nischinta, he has not a care in the world. And that Krishna, he's prayasi vasha, that means under the control of his beloved. So at this time, Krishna is Dear Lalit Nayak, that means under the control of Radhika, and Radhika is Swadina Bhatrika. She is the heroine who is controlling her beloved and ordering him what to do. Now there's a very deep mystery in Swadin Bhatrika. Don't think that Radharani is being bossy. Oh, you should do this, you should do that. It's not like that, even though it appears like it. When Radhika is perspiring, and lying down, resting after their loving pastime, she cannot even lift one finger. Then Krishna's heart is melting and he feels so sorry for her. And he takes a fan and begins to fan her. At that time, Radharani is in such a mood. He says, oh, stop, don't do this. I like these drops of perspiration. Don't evaporate them. I like them. Oh, can you bring some flowers to decorate my hair? Then Krishna is so absorbed, so happy. Yes, I'll go and pick some flowers for Radhika. So he goes outside and looks for the best flowers he can find and brings them back. But when he shows the flowers to Radharani, she looks and said, no, these are not good. These have been tasted by a bumblebee. Just bring the flowers that haven't been tasted by a bumblebee. Oh, excuse me. And he throws those flowers away. And then Krishna goes outside and he's looking. Because if a bumblebee goes in, then the parag, the pollen inside, will be somewhat disturbed. So he's looking for those flowers which haven't been tasted by a bumblebee, and he picks those, and he comes and he's decorating the hair of Radhika. So all of this, it seems that she's becoming very bossy, but this is not the fact. There's a deep mood. What is that mood? Radharani said, Kuru Yadunandana Chandana Shishitatrena Karina Payodare Mrigamarupatra Kamatra Manobhava Mangala Kalasha Sahodare Nijagadasa Yadunandane Kridati Ritayanandane Kridati Ritayanandane Guru Yadunandana. The meaning is this. One name of Radhika is Krishna Mai. It means Krishna Mai, Krishna Yara, Antara Bahire, Yaha Yaha Netta Pare, Tahan Krishna Spure. Wherever Radharani looks, inside or outside, she sees Krishna everywhere. So this is called Krishna Mai. So Radharani was thinking, I have attained Krishna Mayata. That means the state of seeing Krishna in love everywhere. But I have not attained Krishna Ta. Krishna Ta means that I myself am one with Krishna. But during their loving pastime together, Naso Ramana Nahama Ramani Duimanu Manobhava Peshla Jani, Radhika said, I am not the lover and he is not my beloved, but Cupid has melted our hearts and we have become one. So at the end of the pastimes, when Radhika is feeling one with Radharani, then she doesn't want to take anything to decorate herself. She doesn't want her Sakis to come and bring something to decorate her, because all of these ornaments will be something different. But if Krishna himself will melt and become the kajal on my eyes, if Krishna himself will become the blue kuvala flower on my ear, if Krishna himself will become the necklace of sapphires on my chest, if Krishna himself will melt and become the kasturi, the dark black musk, and paint pictures of mango leaves on my chest, oh, then I can remain in the state of Krishnata, complete oneness with him. And this is why Radharani is saying, oh Krishna, with your very cool hand, which is cooler than sandalwood paste, please paint the mango leaves on my heart with kasturi. You yourself decorate my hair with flowers. You yourself paint my eyes with kajal. And in this way, you should become all of my ornaments. I will be ornamented only by you. So this is the deep vav of Shringarvat. Now, it is said that when Radha and Krishna were together, at that time, all the gopis were searching here and there, trying to find them. And this is true, and it has been described in that way in Srimad Bhagavatam. But one last point I want to make for today, and that is this. When you hear a pastime, you should always hear, chant, and remember, not like you're window shopping, looking from the outside, but rather we should hear, chant, and remember with deep sambandha gyan, with the relationship that Gurudev gives to the disciple at the time of Diksha. So what is our sambandha with this beautiful Leela of Shringarvat? Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, in the 42nd verse of Utkalika Vallari, he reveals that though Radha Krishna went alone, and though all the gopis were searching everywhere, one Manjari saw where they went and very quietly followed them. That was Rupa Manjari. So Rupa Goswami Pad wrote, Rasaram Ve Vilasiti Paritajya Gostambujakshi. Oh Radhika, when will that day come when you are in Shringarvat and Krishna, after your loving pastimes, is decorating you and completely controlled by your prem? When will I, from my hiding place, behold this beautiful Leela with my heart swelling with pride? Oh, my Radhika is so glorious. Krishna has abandoned all the gopis of Vrindavan and alone is serving her, only serving her. So Radhika Radasi Jadi Hoi Abhiman Shigla Malai Tavago Kulakan. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, those who have a strong Abhiman, great pride. Oh, Radhika is my Swamini. And they're very proud of Radhika. Then they can quickly attain the eternal service of Radha and Krishna. So in this way, I am bowing down. Yat kinchit trinagol makikate makam goste samastami tat saravananda. Mayam Mukunda Dayatam Leela Nukulam Param. I bow down to every tree, every creeper, and every mosquito, and every particle of dust in Vrindavan, and pray, please bless me that I can serve Radha and Krishna eternally under the guidance of Srila Gurudev. Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lala ki jai, Varasani Wali ki jai, Vrishnubhanu Raj Kumari Ju ki jai, Jai Jai Sri Radhe Shah. Jai Gaura Sitanath Premanande Hari Hari Bol.